What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video.
In this video, I'll be giving my review of the Impel Down arc in One Piece. But before we get into the video,
please be sure to subscribe to the channel as well as the notification bell to get notified for more content that I put out. As well, if you're never enjoying this video, be sure to hit us with a like and leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, we now have channel memberships, so be sure to check those out if you want. So, without any further ado, let's just get into it, y'all.
If she ain't got a butt, fucking get into it, yo.
Impel Down. At this point, this video is coming out almost like 3 weeks after Amazon Lily, but here we are, Impel Down.
Yeah, I'm excited. This was a big one, a huge one, an exciting one, a busy one.
Yeah, a lot of words.
A dense one.
A lot of adjectives.
Excited.
So yeah, let's get it going. First, let's talk about the good and the bad about this arc that you felt after finishing it now.
Yeah, as mentioned, it was busy, it was exciting. Nah, but it was a lot, which is good and bad. It was, for me to like organize my thoughts throughout this whole arc was a lot. There was so much that happened. Blast from the past, huge blast from the past. Let's go save Ace. Like, there was just so much just to fulfill this one goal of saving Ace, and it was phenomenal. It was an extremely great arc.
Yeah.
There were really exciting team-ups, which we'll get into. Blast from the past team-ups. I don't really have that many negatives besides that it was like very dense. So someone with a brain like me, like it was a lot to just like take in and like again organize and like figure out the good and the bad and the how is this going to affect the story, but like that was also the beauty of it. And another bad thing was I just really missed the Straw Hats.
Yeah, we got a new crew though.
I just really missed them. Like we watch it, so like seeing the intro songs, I'm just like, I mean, we skip the intro half the time, but even just watching it briefly, I genuinely miss them.
Yeah,
a lot. And even the ones that I don't like that much, like Usopp, I miss him.
It's you grow a tight bond with these characters, and it's been a minute. I mean, even if you think about like how long it's been episode-wise, think about how much it was in real time. Like we were talking about it the other day when I was trying to explain to you, like, yo, it's there's so many episodes, almost like a year and change since the last time you've seen the Straw Hats. In real time, at least.
Thank God I'm not watching it in real time.
I mean, one day you'll be.
Yeah.
You'll be alright.
When I do start watching it in real time, I think I'm just going to read from the beginning now.
From the beginning? Like start over?
Just read, yeah.
Oh, just
so
pick up
I'll switch to reading.
Oh, just like
from
pick
the
up
beginning.
And go from there?
No, because I don't know if I can go like a whole week. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, you're not trying to
Well, actually, you fulfill your need because you watch it with me, I feel.
I watch it with you, but also like I get to wait every week to like read and watch. I do both. So like I get to read where we are currently and then watch by getting refreshed from a couple months. We'll see. We'll see when you get there. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's get into the prison itself. What'd you think about Impel Down?
It was very interesting. But I did love this organization of like
Maps.
Yeah. Geography is everything.
I'll say one thing. I do feel like he was cheating a couple arcs ago when we were in Annie's lobby. You were disappointed that we weren't going to get a prison breakout scene.
I didn't cheat. I genuinely didn't, because
you were saying like, oh man, I was just thinking they was gonna go in and come back out and get Tom and stuff.
It is kind of funny though, and like I'm wondering if I know I didn't, because I was like I'm wondering if like I saw an episode that you were watching of like Impel Down and like unconsciously tied that to Annie's lobby, but like I never watched. The only episode I remember of you ever watching of One Piece is Wedding Kiki. And I still don't know what that means. But, like, when I get to it, I'm going to be like, oh, here it is. But, like, that's it. But, no, I genuinely, in Annie's lobby, what we got in Impel Down is what I hoped for in Annie's lobby. Like, going through the prison and seeing people that were locked up, and I thought Tom was going to be there.
Yeah.
But no, I genuinely didn't know this. But I got what I wanted at Impel Down. I didn't know there was more than one prison, which is kind of cool. But I love the organization of Impel Down, of how like the higher the bounty, the lower down you are.
Yeah.
So there's 6 levels, and basically, as explained, level 1 is like a little bounty, not too bad. Then the 6th one is where
not too bad.
Not too bad. The 6th one is where we found out Ace is and some serious criminals down there. So, yeah, we'll go into the organization of it. Level 1 was Crimson Hell, which was basically a forest of spiky thingies.
Spiky things.
And that's where we find Buggy. We'll get into the people in a minute, but level 2 was Wild Beast Hell. So again, a little deeper. There's some wild beasties, but they didn't seem that wild when we were there. But wild beasties, and that's where we find Mr. 3. Then we go to Starvation Hell, which is basically a desert, and exactly what it sounds like, starvation. And this is where we find Bon Clay. Love
Bon
him.
Clay the GOAT.
Yes. Then level 4 is Blazing Hell. Exactly how it sounds. We don't really get a peek of Blazing Hell. Well, we get a little peek, but we don't go in it. We're like on top of it.
No,
right?
That's basically it. It's like that hot pot thing is like right under it.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, that is Blazing Hell because it's just the heat and all that shit.
Yes, and oh yeah, and that's where the battle with Magellan is. Yes. So it's blazing, it's hot, it's fiery. And then, quite the opposite, for a level 5, you get Freezing Hell. And that's where all the scary flesh-eating wolves are, and where we're introduced to Inazuma.
Yeah, Inazuma.
Which brings us to level 5.5, which is a secret level in between level 5 and 6, and it's a beautiful queer world, which we'll talk about. But it's my favorite part of the whole arc. And then level 6 is the Eternal Hell, which is where we're going to find Ace, and we'll eventually find Jimbei and Crocodile, which is really exciting. And what's his name? Old warden. Yes. What's the warden that got locked up? The co-warden? What is it?
Shiryu.
Shiryu. Yeah. That's a hard one for me to pronounce.
If you had to choose between Freezing Hell and Blazing Hell.
Mm.
We know
God.
you're being cold.
That's hard because I'd probably choose the hot one. Yeah, because I can't stand being cold.
Yeah, it's over for you in the Freezing Hell. Yeah. I'm not choosing the Freezing Hell either because you get frostburn, all types.
I always say I would prefer cooler weather than hotter weather because you can put layers on, but you don't have the option to put layers on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd rather be hot.
Yeah. So we found some details as well because we have this prison that just basically seems ridiculous, right? It's 6 levels. I mean, we have the secret Nukama level, right? But and nobody's ever broken out. But we did find out that somebody did break out, which is a callback to.
Yeah, this was fun. And I hope we learn more about him because, he was in the movie. But Shiki, who we learned fought Garp.
Yeah.
He's the one that can make things
float and stuff.
Yeah, like telekinesis type situation. Yeah, he's the only one that escaped the prison. How? We don't know. But I hope we find more about him. And I know he was in the movie, but I'm wondering if... Because I know Oda, that was the one tie-in with the movie and the series. So I'm just wondering if we are going to find out more about him in this world. But yeah, Shiki was the one that escaped and he fought Garp.
Yeah. So we get into this prison and what helps us get here is Reliable from Amazon Lily. So what do you think about Boa Hancock's role and everything she did in this arc?
I love her. I love her now. She...
Sold, right?
Yeah, sold completely. I'm waiting for her to get her heart broken. That's gonna suck.
God, what?
I mean, because Luffy's not with it.
You never know.
I mean, but no, I love her. I'd be interested to see if she would join the crew, but I don't know if she would. But she has her own pirates and her own crew, so probably her own island.
She has her own stuff going on.
Yes, probably not. But I love her a lot, and this all just brings me back to the idea that Kuma sent him there for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if like he predicted that she was gonna fall in love with Luffy, but
yeah, because who would have thought that? Like, yeah, she'd fall in love with Luffy and be the one to help him get into Impel Down. But she held it down. She really was.
She really held it down. That the whole time, and her goal was to get to Ace to tell Ace, which was like, even and like everything about her, everything.
Yeah, and Ace didn't even believe it. Ace was like, all right, how does she know all of this? Nah, she's lying. No way in hell Luffy is in here. Even though he's like...
She was so risky for doing that. She knows the seriousness of Impel Down, and she
risked it all.
She hypnotized with her good looks the girl.
Yeah, one of the wards. I forgot her name.
Yeah, I don't know. But one of the people, and she really risked it.
Domino. There we go. Oh. You wasn't gonna remember that. I just...
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get into the... Let's talk about the Impel Down workers since we just talked about Domino at this point. So what do you think about the people that works in Impel Down that we've met? It's a whole bunch of them, but we'll just hit some key ones.
Yeah, let's start smaller. Sadie. I have no words for her, really.
She's about that SNL.
Yeah. She's fun. I don't think there was, like, too much character building with her apart from the fact that she liked to dominate. But, yeah, she's interesting. But she's also kind of head of the Zoan people.
The Man-Beast people, yeah.
I guess they're not really people, but the Zoan Devil Fruit users, she's kind of like, it seems like the head of those, and she controls them, and so that's her little crew.
Well, what did you think about those guys, the Awakened Zoan Devil Fruit users? Think they were cute?
No, I don't really actually think they were cute. Not gonna lie. They were just whatever. I'm not gonna lie, Sadie and them, they didn't stick out to me so much because in my mind, I'm like, Luffy can defeat them in like 2 seconds. Yeah. Like, they didn't seem so, I don't know, threatening to me. Yeah. But, so they were just kind of there. Hannibal.
Yeah. That's what I say.
Was funny. Nice comedic relief from him. He really wants to be warden, and he lets it be known. I'm curious to see. I don't know if we will, or if his character's kind of done now, but I am kind of curious. I just feel like we didn't fully see his strength as much as we could have.
I mean, he tried his hardest.
Yeah.
Luffy washed him up though.
Yeah, but he was an interesting character. He just really wanted to be warden so much that he was risking letting Buggy and Mr. 3 go.
I did love the way he was just always talking shit like, yeah, lose your job so I can become warden.
Yeah, he had no chill. He's one of those people that just like has to speak the truth all the time. He has no filter, at all. So he's funny. And then the most serious, of course, was the warden himself, Magellan, who had the venom fruit.
What do you think about Magellan?
He's just lovely.
You should definitely have a lot to say about this dude.
I feel him. The tummy issues.
The tummy issues? Not the fact that he's just trying to do his job. You just feel him on the tummy issues?
Yeah. Oda did it. Like, Magellan is such an interesting person because if he's not fighting people, he's in the bathroom. But yeah, you feel for him because he is just trying to do his job, but then you hate him because his devil fruit is so devilly.
It's so devil. Why is devil fruit deviling?
He just, he scared me a lot. I didn't like his devil fruit.
Yeah.
It was scary. Because there's no escaping it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Magellan is, like, he's a good person. He wasn't being a bad person.
He's just doing his job. He is a very good antagonist, though.
Yeah. Antagonist just is a really good word to use there at this point, because he's not necessarily a villain. He's just now on the same side as the person we're following right now.
He's on the same side as Justice.
But speaking of some more characters, let's talk about each character that showed up from the past.
This was so fun.
Their role here. So you got a list of people. So
yeah, as we go into again each level of Impel Down, it's a blast from the past. But what's ironic about it is all of these people, the blast from the past people, are there because of Luffy. Because Luffy's washed them up in other arcs. So it's like we take a visit to each arc, basically. Each saga.
Yeah.
Each saga, yeah, because it's spread out. But it was so fun. So we first...
Noah Nell, though. Noah Nell from Skypiea, though.
That's true. Yeah, well, Eminel's on the moon, so maybe we'll see him someday. But it was fun. So it's first Buggy. I'm not the biggest fan of Buggy. I never really was.
Boo.
I know.
Boo. Buggy have assembled.
I have this thing in my brain where I just like, I don't like people who, I don't like boasty people. I don't like people who get credit for things that they don't do. And that's what he kept on getting throughout the whole arc, and it just bothered me so much. I'm like, Buggy's not.
You gotta respect the finesse, though.
I guess so. I do. I love his devil fruit. So I'm happy he's back. I did watch some filler episodes. So like Buggy was very fresh in my mind because I watched this random filler episode and Buggy showed up. So he was still very fresh in my mind and he was just as annoying to me. But I'm happy he's there. He was so funny throughout this arc. I also think I had like a little annoyance with Buggy because his intentions weren't on Luffy's side.
Pure.
They weren't pure at all. He wasn't genuine. He was basically just lying to Luffy to escape, which, of course, anybody would. But also, there was that whole, he really wanted the map on Luffy's arm.
Yeah, the armband thing.
And Luffy didn't know it was a map, so he's like, yeah, sure, just help me get to my brother. Which we didn't really go into too much.
Yeah, it really is.
So that kind of stopped. But, so yeah, there's Buggy. And then... it was fun, I will say. During that episode where they teamed up and were fighting together, I was like, oh, this is a really good team.
I never knew I wanted to see them team up.
Yeah, because like the Chop fruit? Yeah. Chop fruit and rubber. It's just that for some reason they just go well together in my brain.
Because it's kind of like extending. He's able to kind of like extend. Maybe you don't punch as hard.
They're like quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Anyway, I loved it, but he's still annoying to me. Sorry.
That's actually a really good analogy because when you think about it, so Buggy can't be chopped essentially, like sliced. If you try to slice Buggy, you're gonna have a problem. You can't shoot bullets at Luffy, but if you slice him, he's gonna feel it. Like if you cut him, so it's kind of like
it's a
one's good at the other.
Yeah. They're a good team. But then speaking of teams, we get Mr. 3 who joins them in the next level down. And then Mr. 3 and Buggy get along really fast because they both have the same intention of, kind of blindsiding Luffy and just escaping.
Weaseling the fuck out of him.
using him as much as they can to get out.
They tried, though, because every time they wanted to leave Luffy, they were just like, oh my god, he's such a good person.
And you know what's so funny about Mr. 3 is back on the Giant Island.
Little Garden.
Thank you. Back on Little Garden, I thought Mr. 3 was such a threat. And now I'm like, I thought he was such a threat because of what he was doing to the Straw Hats. And then it was difficult for Luffy to defeat him until he got like the mallet situation, which was fun because we got it again in here. But then I was like, you're a little wimpy. And so yeah, we got Mr. 3, and then him and Mr. Buggy. Mr. Buggy. Him and Buggy are so funny throughout this whole arc. They're a really good team together, and they're just hilarious.
Yeah.
They do pretty much everything to get out besides like fight. They hide. They're fun, and then they let other prisoners escape to be a distraction. They're fun. They're smart. Oh, and then Bon Clay.
Bon Clay to go.
Bon Clay. I love Bon Clay, not only because he is one of the first queer character we get introduced to.
Got my way.
He was just really fun during this. Bon Clay's back, and he plays such an important role, and he's the second reason I've cried in this series. The first being the Mary, and then this is the second time.
Yeah, your reaction to that. We'll get to it, but he was not.
Yeah, I love Bon Clay. Then we have the hormone fruit. We have Ivankov, the second queer we're introduced to, and I adore them.
You had no idea what was coming when you met this character.
I was so confused by Ivan because of the big ass head and just
big ass head.
I love this character so much, and the more so of the world building that we do because of Ivan. They're really fun. So we have Ivan, and then we have Inazuma, who's also like Ivan's
side person.
Yeah, side person. Also, just side note, Ivan plays such an important role because, well, I guess we'll get into it more, but the only reason why they're in this arc so much is because they realize how, they realize that Luffy is Dragon's son, and Ivan is a part of the revolutionary people, and
revolutionary army. So he's Crocodile's left hand, right hand man, essentially.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whichever one.
Left, right, whatever.
But Ivan was like, I will do anything for you, Luffy, because of...
Yeah, because he couldn't even believe it, because Luffy said this shit so casually.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, but that's Dragon.
And he's like, what?
He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, so Ivan plays such an important role. Inazuma had the scissor hands.
Snip, snip.
And they were both hiding out in level 5.5, Newkama. And then we have Jinbei. Love Jinbei so much. So much. So he is in the same cell as Ace, and that's how we get introduced to him. He is a warlord, prior warlord, I guess, kind of phasing out now. But
there's lots happening.
He's locked up because he didn't agree with the war that's about to happen. He didn't agree with Ace's execution. He is a true believer in justice, and he's a fishman. And what's really interesting about him is he is the first son of the sea, and he also has the Sun Pirates marking on him.
Yeah.
So I hope we get to learn more about his past and his story. Like, Oda does a beautiful job when he just really gets into people's stories. I hope we get that for Jinbei a little bit, because there are a lot of unanswered questions, I feel like, about Jinbei.
Yeah.
But I really, really like him. And I also love that his morality changed, which is why I feel like there's just so much. There's this big thing that's just dangling above our heads that we don't know. Why are these Jinbei, Kuma,
Boa?
Yeah, what is it that they know? Even Shanks, Ace, well, not Ace, but Shanks, about the new era and the importance of it. Even Blackbeard, believing in this new era. Blackbeard is a whole question mark too. There's so many unanswered things with that too, which we'll get into. But there's this big dangling question that I have, and just what is this big morality thing that they all know for this new era? Anyway, but Jinbei is one of them. And then of course, Crocodile, he comes back.
You didn't know you was gonna like Crocodile.
Yeah, I didn't like Crocodile, of course, because we all love Vivi. I used to hate him, but I really started to like him. However, his only intention of getting out of prison and to help Luffy was he wanted to fight Whitebeard, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. But something I want to know about Crocodile is Ivan made that very just nonchalant comment, like you're gonna help us or I'm gonna share your secret.
Croco boy.
Do you want me to share your past? So I'm did Crocodile transition because of the hormone fruit? I'm just curious. Because Crocodile does have that big, which they never explain.
Scar.
The big scar and soap patch thing. I'm just so curious about him. But he's really cool. I like Crocodile in this arc.
So let's get into some of the moments, the beats of this arc for the most part. We're not going to go through the whole journey. We know if you've seen this arc, it's just a wild ride going through each level.
So dense.
Just like a wild ride. We get it. We all know. So let's get to some of the main moments. Mm-hmm. Luffy versus Magellan. How'd you feel about this?
I was scared. There was no way for him to defeat him. He couldn't touch him. If he did, he had the poison. But yeah, Luffy got washed up real quick, real easily too, which was scary. Bon Clay ran away because he knew I can't help you out either, bro.
He was sad too. He was disappointed.
I was no.
He was really. I felt him though. He's nah, bro, you about to get murdered.
But no, I honestly don't have many words for it besides that was the only thing that could happen is Luffy got defeated. He got fully taken over by the poison. However. And this was on the fire level.
This is Blazing Hell, yeah. So we get down to level 5.
Yeah.
Ivankov, not Ivankov, Bon Clay did some finesses. He was able to.
Yes. So this is when Bon Clay, like, yes, he runs away, but good thing he did, because then he realized, well, he bumped into Buggy and Mr. 3, who were trying to escape with Vice Warden.
Yeah.
And Bon Clay beat up Vice Warden, hung him up somewhere. And then Bon Clay turned into
Nami.
Yeah.
Bon Clay turned into Nami.
Yeah. That's how he swindled his way in. But then he turned into the Vice Warden and told them to allow
him to put Luffy in a cell.
Yeah, and they brought him down to the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then something that Bon Clay had a goal of, he was like, we need to find Yvonne. And the last I heard is he was locked up in the level 5.
Yeah.
And so that's why he wanted to go down there. So, yeah, so they got down to level 5, and they struggled a lot. And there were the scary wolves and things, and it was over for them. They were both passed out in the snow. And then this is how we end up reviving Luffy, is Scissorhands came and brought them to level 5.5. And the way we're introduced to it is Bon Clay is like, he's awakened and he's healed from the wolves, because he was all wrapped up. He got very badly injured by the wolves. And then he walks into this seemingly like cool like lounge club situation, and it ended up being a really cool queer world. And it was a lot of fun. And then we find out that the main person performing is Ivankov, and Bon Clay is like, Yvonne. And so then they find Luffy. This was actually another huge part, a really powerful part. Luffy is healing in the other room. Yvonne was trying to revive him, and Yvonne was like, listen, like, even though, you know, I think he's going to survive, he's not going to heal within, like, he needs like 10 days to heal.
And the ticker is ticking on Ace.
Because Ace is
it's like every couple episodes they let you know, like, 3 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours. Like.
But, you know, Luffy, he's hard-headed. And then, of course, the power of friendship. Bon Clay is standing outside of Luffy's room saying, you can do it! And then Luffy is revived, and the first thing that he says is, food! And he eats mad food, and we get Luffy back. But he's still not fully healed. Yeah. He's still a little weak.
I mean, Ivankov has these cool powers where he has this hormone fruit. He's able to kind of inject people and give them kind of life energy. But he lets Luffy know, like, hey, if I do see you, you're going to lose about 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
So, at this point, I don't know how much time Luffy got left, because, like...
With gear 2nd, gear 3rd, he keeps just, like, chopping down his years. But, I mean, it's Luffy. He has incredible hockey, which I'm so excited to find out more about.
Spoiler, Luffy dies at the end of the series. I don't know.
We're not at the end yet, so...
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we already talked about Buggy and Mr. 3's like little side quest adventures for the most part of them going
so
through.
Funny.
And then basically we already know that Ivankov finds out that Luffy and Dragon are related. So let's kind of talk about Ace's relationship with Jinbei, because there's a lot going on down there before we get there.
Yeah, so Jinbei and Ace are kind of bonding in the cell. Correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I just missed it. They don't have a relationship before the cell, right?
They do.
What was it?
He basically was just they fought before.
Oh, they fought before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They was like, oh man, last time we almost killed each other.
Oh yes. They fought before, but they don't have yeah. Okay.
They're not tight.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they basically they're bonding in there, and then Jinbei is just like, I don't agree with this execution, and you know, like, I will get you out, basically.
Yeah.
He's on Jinbei is on Whitebeard's side.
So
yeah.
So let's talk about another beard. Blackbeard.
So interesting to me.
So what are your thoughts on Blackbeard and his crew and all the shenanigans that he brings into this?
So Blackbeard shows up, And
using his 7 Warlord title to basically waltz in and then be like, F it, I don't need it.
Because he was also on a Marine ship. He, like, I was genuinely confused by this, and I think I voiced it while we were watching it, because I looked at Blackbeard as the biggest threat. Like, the actual biggest one, and then I saw him fight Magellan, and I was like, oh, I guess there's someone more powerful than him, but Blackbeard is the whole reason why Ace is in prison. His power is so scary. But something interesting that happened was Magellan was, during all this chaos and fighting and stuff, Magellan was losing hope, so he released the other warden. Sorry. What was it?
Shiryu.
Something with a Shiryu. And so Shiryu's out now, fighting people still, and him and Blackbeard have this little deal. I have so many questions. So many, but basically Blackbeard comes in. Shiryu was supposed to stop Blackbeard, but he doesn't. He sides with him with something, and so Blackbeard gets down to Magellan and past Luffy and everything, and
because he uses powers. That's the person who actually took out Hannibal, because they was mid-fight at Hannibal.
Oh yes, Blackbeard got him. But so Luffy and Blackbeard were about to fight, but then Jinbei was like, no, it's not worth it. But then Blackbeard was like, I don't even want to fight you. Like, my plan is working. So I'm like, what plan are you talking about? The plan that you got Ace in prison. So what is that bigger scheme of things? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then Magellan wipes out Blackbeard, but then Shiryu ends up saving him in the end. But Blackbeard for me is just a giant ass question mark. I just want to know, because I thought he would have wanted to wipe out Luffy on the spot, and he could have probably.
You forgot that we met him back in Jaya.
No, I remember him in Jaya.
Okay.
Because they also referred to him as them.
Yeah.
And that was interesting to me too. Who is Blackbeard?
What is Blackbeard? I mean, the original reason that Blackbeard was going after Luffy in the first place was he's figured, since he just took out Crocodile, which is a warlord, that he's like, all right, if I take out this Luffy dude,
I can become a warlord. But instead he took out Ace. Because Ace
was looking for him.
Yeah.
It didn't help that he told Ace, yeah, I'm actually going to go after this dude named Luffy. And he's like,
yeah.
Oh, you about to go after my brother? He's like, oh.
So why does Blackbeard want to become warlord? Because
he's not a warlord now, because he just did this.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is
this? Was his plan. He wanted to come in here for something, to impel down for something. So that's what you're supposed to get out of it. He wanted to become warlord so he could do this.
So he could do this. His plan's working.
Because Boa Hancock was able to do it too.
Yeah.
So the title kind of lets you do some shit, but now he don't even care. So
what's his plan? I'm so excited. Hopefully we find out.
What's in the box? So we jump ahead. Magellan kind of takes care of Blackbeard, but obviously we find out that Blackbeard ends up being okay, because Shiryu comes with the antidote for them and helps them out. But he's back to chasing our squad,
and he caught up real quick.
Jinbei, Ivankov, because Ivankov at some point fights Sadie, and she got washed
up. That was a fun. We have a really, really cool. Deathwing is phenomenal. I mean, Deathwing got them out of all things, but we have a really cool crew going on right now. We have Ivankov, we have Jinbei, Crocodile,
Mr. One.
Oh, Mr. One, Mr. Bones.
That's Bones.
That's Bones, who fought Zoro. So wait, how many? 4.
A lot of us.
And then Buggy and Mr. 3 are kind of.
We catch back up to them.
They're ahead of everybody, but they're technically a part of the crew too in the end. So this is a really cool crew, and you think we're like, wow, we're gonna make it. But then Magellan catches up real fast, wipes out Ivankov, wipes out Scissorhands, and then they're like facing off.
It's not looking good.
But we have a fishman on our side. Oh, another thing is Magellan had this whole plan to take all of the Marine ships away. So the Marine ships disappeaared. So they all got to the front.
Yeah, by the time they got to the exit, there was no ships.
There were no ships. So they're like, how are we going to escape? This is when Buggy got a lot of prisoners to be his, little posse.
Yeah.
This is when I was like, he's not doing anything. And I know, like, Luffy's humble, so he wouldn't want this attention anyway, but, like, all of this should be towards Luffy, in my opinion, but whatever. Because everything that they were, like, praising Buggy for was what Luffy was doing.
What do you think about the stalling moment when Luffy and Mr. 3 team up to try to hold Magellan back?
Yeah, this was cool because this was a blast from the past for a little garden when Luffy...
We're going to title this video, Blast from the Past.
Yeah, sorry, I keep saying that. I get sat on like a phrase and I always say it. I think I keep saying wipe out or whatever. I keep saying the same things over and over. I'm catching myself. The wax mallet, because they realized that the venom, but the original venom couldn't affect the wax. So Luffy was like, I can touch him with the wax mallet. So this is where we start getting hope. Because anytime Luffy uses his brain, or any of the Straw Hats would use their brain, and like they come up with some type of scheme and tactic, then it usually works. However, Magellan turns into this very intense devil type thing, and his venom gets stronger somehow.
Changes to like pink.
He must have some crazy belly issues after that.
Yeah.
And then it melts away the wax. But it was cool that they teamed up, and Luffy got that mallet that he had back on Little Garden.
Mallet? It was the wax armor.
Oh, like from...
You keep thinking about you think about the move they did when they was fighting the Jailer Beast.
Yeah, but even so, that was cool. Yeah. When they were on the... But no, this was like
Long Ring Long Land?
Yeah. Wow. And who was that? Who were they even fighting? Foxy. Where's Foxy? When's he coming back? Anyway, yeah, Foxy. Okay, so this was like a flashback to like Foxy because he actually had like the boxing gloves.
And he was hype about it.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Mr. 3 keeps coming in clutch with making these weapons though for Luffy.
Mr. 3 fake holds it down. But we get this dope moment though, like once we get towards the exit, because we kind of like jumped around a lot there. So while Luffy and Mr. 3 is holding Magellan back, at least, we start to like get towards the entrance, and then Jinbei grabs a door and then like tosses the door into the water. Like,
again, we have a fishman on our crew now, so Jinbei just throws the door in and he can swim because they see the ship still. So like Jinbei's like, it's reachable, so let's go. So he gets the powerful, he gets obviously it's Jinbei, and then he gets Crocodile and Mr. 1, and then Buggy's thrown on there. And Buggy's just whipping out the whole time.
This is better for me to be here with these strong dudes than be over here with y'all waiting for this dude to come up there.
Yeah. And they have like a
snail transponder.
Thank you, transponder. Snail transponder. Even sounds funny.
And then Mushi is easier for me to say. That's the term.
Japanese term. So Luffy's just like, hey, where's the ship? And then they're like, we're working on it. And then eventually Jinbei is just like, hey, jump into the sea.
Yeah.
And because basically they get the ship, but it's going to take some time. And like, this is when the venom is, the Hydra, whatever is happening. And they're like, we need to go. And by we, it's literally Luffy, Mr. 3, everybody who's not on the Marine ship, and then tons of prisoners. Don't forget about them because they're all here too.
People from level 5.5. It's cavalcade.
Yeah, the 5.5 too.
So we have like 200 people with us.
Yeah, lots of people. And then Jinbei's just like, just jump into the sea, and then Ivankov does a death wink, and they get out and they fall into the sea. But guess who catches them? Little whale sharks. Little whale sharks come and swim and that was exciting. And then they all make it back to the ship, and they're like, wow. And then Magellan's just standing there all alone in the prison, just like staring out like...
Yeah, you're not getting out of here, though.
Yes. Yeah. But they
I mean, this is when things get a little real. So they found that the gates of justice are locked, right?
Yeah.
So even though Magellan's not dumb. Right, he had multiple plans in place to stop all of this.
There's multiple barriers.
You know what I mean? Like when they was running out, they thought they were going to be able to just hijack a Marine ship that was at the dock and do their thing. He made sure that all the Marine ships left and left them stranded there. But even if they did get the ship, they would still have to get through this current and the gates of justice, and those just don't open. until this moment.
I don't even want to talk about it.
So, you want to let us know how we get out of here?
Yeah, well, Magellan tells the gatekeepers, I guess, hey, open the gates. But ended up not really being Magellan. It was Bon Clay.
You knew it, though, because you said,
you
knew he was missing. You was like...
Yeah, because I really, really, really ended up, like... I mean, I will say, I loved Bon Clay at the end of Alabasta. He just always he was such a real one for helping them escape when the Marines were starting to attack. And because there's a common thread with a lot of these people where they get a sense of morality and they switch sides. Like I felt that for Smoker, feel that obviously for Jinbei, Bon Clay.
Well, for Jinbei, it's not so much of his morality changed. That's just who he is.
Yeah, that's true.
He just refused. He got put in that position not for any morality change. He said, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
The same thing would have happened to Boa Hancock. She was like, I'm not doing that. But they know if you don't do it, then you get stripped of your title and stuff.
Yeah.
So
they just have morality in general. But, okay, so Bon Clay was a true, like, morality change, I guess, because he was a part of the Baroque works.
Yeah.
But I've loved him since the end of Alabasta because what he sacrificed for the Straw Hats. And I wanted him to be a part of the crew then. So I was really happy that he made a comeback. I really loved him throughout this whole thing. And he took another one for the team. And when Luffy realized he wasn't there... yeah,
because he told Jinbei.
Yeah, Bon Clay told... Oh, yeah, so Jinbei this whole time knew that they were going to get out. Because Jinbei and Bon Clay had already talked beforehand, saying, like, yo, I'm going to, like, open the gates for you guys. Took one for the team. And so he asked Jinbei, don't tell Luffy, because he knows he's going to make it harder. But Jinbei told Luffy, and they got in touch on the transponder snail. And it was so sad. Because Magellan walks in, and he's like, who's that? He was like, and then everyone was confused, but it worked. The gates opened, and I'm praying Bon Clay makes another appearance in the future.
I don't know, man. It's not looking good for the boy.
I just love him.
So
he has to. He has to be reunited with the Straw Hats, not just Luffy.
So Dallas should say R.I.P. to the GOAT.
No, not R.I.P. There's no such thing as that in this series.
I mean, we'll see. But we get away. But we get a couple like funny moments here. I mean, we're basically at the end of the arc, but there's some little interactions on the ship. Because at one point, like somebody calls the phone,
yeah,
and they're all standing there. And I don't know what Luffy does. Luffy picks up the phone and says some stupid shit to the Marines. But they find out that Buggy was on. Everybody basically finds out that Buggy was on Roger's crew, so they can't believe it. So
yeah, all the prisoners, like the 200 plus prisoners or whatever, find out that because the Marines are now looking at. They know that Buggy is with them, and they're looking at Buggy as a threat because not necessarily because of his power or anything, because he stayed low key for years now, but because they're like, oh, he was on Roger's ship.
Yeah, and to them, it looks like Buggy and Luffy's the one who let this whole break out.
And so they're like, oh, he's a threat. And then because of that, all the prisoners are like, what? You were on his ship? And then Buggy, of course, like, at first he was panicking. He was like, oh no, like, now I can't be like a low-key pirate anymore. And he's like, wait a second, now I can be king of the pirates because everyone praises me.
Buggy for Pirate King, boy.
No.
Buggy for Pirate King.
It was so annoying for me. I don't know.
You don't get it?
I don't get it. I know a lot of people love Buggy. I just, like, I get so annoyed by him.
Oh, we'll see. But turns out the gates are still blocked to Marine Ford, so how do you think we're going to get there?
I have no idea.
Just luck.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Luffy has tons of luck.
Maybe Bon Clay.
Again.
Bon Clay again, come through.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right, so what's your final thoughts, your final ranking that you're giving out of 10 for this arc?
My final ranking is definitely a solid... I'm going between 9 and 9.5. Probably a 9.5. It was a really good arc.
Yeah. However,
I have so many questions. And if they are not answered in this next arc, I'm going to lose my brain. I want to know what Blackbeard is up to. I'm ready for this war. / not ready. I'm nervous for this war. Yeah, so I would say a 9.5.
9.5. Nice.
And the anticipation of this next arc is getting to me.
Yep, we are going to Marineford after this. I mean, it's an interesting thing. We are almost near the end of this journey of the Summit War Saga. We have 2 more arcs left.
Wow.
So that'll be fun. So since that's your ranking, we're done here. But before we end this video, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell to get notified for more content that I put out. So if you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit us with a like and leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on the Impel Down arc in One Piece. Also, channel memberships, be sure to check those out, as always. So, on that note, y'all, enjoy your life.
I'm feeling great and feel the vibe. I'm really grateful we alive. And I'm feeling great cause lately I've been on the way to something great. And I feel alive cause I create like every day and I'm on to